I thought you'd like to comment on some of them.
Yes, sir. I will begin with the role of the theatre commanders and the chiefs. Well, all over the world, the chiefs have always been staff officers. In fact, they are called Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Defence Staff. And the commanders on the field, who actually are war fighters, are called CNCs. They are commanders in chiefs. Even if you look at any other country system, whether it is the PACOM commander who looks at the Pacific Ocean region, he gets resourced by his chief or the CDS there, or Chairman Joint Chief of Staff from New York and from Washington, and he gets support from there. He's provided all the support, so it is kind of raise, train, sustain functions that the chiefs perform. So in the long run, what we are looking at, theatre commanders will become operational commanders, reporting to the Chairman Chiefs of Staff Committee. Now, this is where the chiefs play a dual role. While the chiefs will be responsible for raise, train, sustain functions of its service, which means they will ensure that the training goes on properly. The theatre commanders are not bothered with training. They look after the training aspects. They look after the wherewithal that the theatre is required for fighting the war. And they will continue sustaining them with the war effort when the war is being fought. But the war will precisely be fought by the theatre commanders on an approved plan made by the Chiefs of Staff Committee. Now, this is where the chiefs are also members of the Chiefs of Staff Committee along with the CDS. So, the CDS or the Chiefs of Staff Committee will approve the plans of the theatre commanders, and thereafter the delegation of power will be with the theatre commanders to fight the war, who will be an integrated force comprising the Army, Navy, Air Force and the CAPF and Coast Guard functioning with them. So that is how the wars will be fought, and chiefs will then get relegated to raise, train, sustain functions, except in the Chief of Staff Committee when the initial plans or the advice to the political hierarchy is to be made as to what should we do, in what way the battles are to be fought, and whether to go to war or not to go to war. So that is the function that will remain. So they will be dual tasked, as is happening today with the CDS.
Excuse me, General Roberts, when an operation is on, a war is on, and I am a theatre commander.
Yes, sir.
I have a problem or I have an issue, and I want some advice or some clearance.
Yes, sir.
I then approach the Chiefs of Staff Committee?
Absolutely, sir. You will approach through the headquarter IDS. Under the CDS, you have a headquarter IDS which has been created as early as 2003. This was what was created in 2003. In fact, the CDS has taken over the role and has now become the head of the IDS which existed in 2003. Earlier, you had a CISC, a CNC rank officer, but a staff officer who was advising the Chief of Staff Committee and the Chairman Chief of Staff. The Chairman Chief of Staff was a rotational entity who, depending on his seniority, could become the head of the Chief of Staff Committee 4, 5, 6, 7 months, depending on how much residual service was left with him, and the senior most person became. Now we've got a CDS who's a permanent Chairman Chief of Staff, with the help of the 3 service chiefs, is responsible for providing singular advice to the government, providing alternates to the political hierarchy in addition to what the chiefs provide. So you have kind of advice being provided to the government through a consensus mechanism with the 3 chiefs. That is what we are looking at.